Namaste, Sathyu sir.
Namaskar.
And welcome to the program Light on the Path. We would try to talk various aspects of your life, at least some aspects of your life in various stages, so that maybe those who listen to it may be benefited or inspired or enlightened. That's the idea. So welcome, sir, once again.
Thank you.
Padma Shri Mysore Srinivasa Sathyu. MS Sathyu is a leading film director, stage designer and art director from India. Born on 6th July 1930, Sathyu pursued his schooling and higher education at Mysore and Bangalore. In 1952, he quit college while working on his Bachelor of Science degree and instead plunged into the uncertain world of films in Mumbai. In 1952 and 53, he freelanced as an animator. After being unemployed for nearly 4 years, he got his first salaried job as assistant director to filmmaker Chetan Anand. He worked in theatre as a designer and director, including designing sets and lights for productions of Hindustani theatre, Okla Theatre of Habib Tanveer, Kannada Bharati and other groups of Delhi. In films, he has worked as an art director, cameraman, screenwriter, producer and director. His first film as an independent art director was Hakikat, a film by Chetan Anand, which won him recognition in the 1965 Filmfare Award for Best Art Direction. His filmography includes over 15 documentaries and 8 feature films in Hindi, Urdu and Kannada. His best known work as director is Garm Hawa, made in 1973, which won several Indian National Awards in 1974, including a National Integration Award. It was screened in the competitive section at Cannes and was also the Indian entry at the Oscars. It won the Filmfare Award for Best Screenplay. It has been described as one of the last cinema productions featuring 1950s Marxist cultural activists including Balraj Sahni and Kaifi Azmi.
इंसान कब तक अकेला जी सकता है?
MS Sathyu has divided his attention equally between films, TV and theatre. He is one of the patrons of Indian People's Theatre Association. His play Dara Shikho is considered a modern classic which was staged by Impresario Asia in Delhi in 2003 and 4. His play Amrita, a sublime love story, is another innovative play which is based on the life and writings of the famous Punjabi writer Amrita Pritam. Other plays that a tireless theatre enthusiast MS Sathyu has to his credit are Mudra Rakshasas, Aakhri Shama, Rashmon, Bakri, Kuri in Kannada, Girija ke Sapne, Mote Ram ke Satyagrah, Emil's Enemies. After Garm Hawa, MS Sathyu directed films like Ek Tha Chotu, Ek Tha Motu, Chitegu Chinte, Kaneshwara Rama, Kaha Kaha Se Guzar Gaye, Bara. Its Hindi version Sukha, Galige, Kotta and Ijjodu.
कहते हैं ये सब बंटवारे के कारण होया.
His short films and documentaries are equally fascinating. Irshad, Black Mountain, Ghalib and Islam in India have received rave accolades. Sathyu engaged in television series in the formative phase of Indian television Pratidhwani in 1985, Choli Daman in 1987-88, Kair in 1992 and Antim Raja 1986 paved the path for later series. He was awarded the highest civilian order, Padma Shri, in 1975. Let's now take a sneak peek into the life of MS Sathyu.
Would you like to describe the Mysore of those days, 30s?
Well, it was a
What you remember of those days?
princely state. Things were very different. 'Cause, I was had my education, primary school and middle school, and even high school and up to the intermediate college.
In Mysore.
I studied in Mysore.
I mean, what type of child you were? I mean, a quiet child or a slightly mischievous child, or what type of child you were?
I think I was interested in everything, but I was a very shy person
Oh,
as a child also. But greatly interested in very many activities.
like,
I was greatly interested in painting.
oh, in childhood itself.
I used to draw and paint on my own. And I used to copy some of the European masters.
Oh, in your childhood itself.
Yeah. And then I was interested in sports.
Your favorite sports?
I was a
those
hockey
days?
player.
Hockey player, okay.
Yeah. I played for the college. Even in Bangalore, I played for the Central College
Hockey.
hockey.
Oh, I see.
When I moved to Bangalore for my BSc,
Yes,
although I didn't complete my graduation. In fact, I am not a trained person in anything. It's just all self-made.
self-made, which is. But during that time, in your childhood, you were interested in so many things, but at the same time, a shy person. So, any teacher or relative which you recollect played a little more important or prominent role in shaping you than others? It could be either parents or teacher or friend or somebody.
Well, I had a few friends, mostly my schoolmates. Some were literary. They were interested in a lot of literature, Kannada literature. And the others who were my close friends were very good athletes. And they were interested in football and cricket and hockey. In fact, hockey was a kind of sport where most of the people were Kurgis.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I perhaps was the only person, a non-Kurgi, in the team.
Oh, I see.
So I was given the most difficult position of playing the left extreme.
Oh, I see.
Left extreme is a difficult position in hockey
Oh, I
because
see.
you have to hit in the reverse.
Oh, I see. I see. But I am sure you must have been good at it.
Well,
But in your childhood, 30s, and the freedom movement was there. Do you recollect any things about the activities?
one was not so well aware of it as much. Heard of Mahatma Gandhi and some names like that. And the 1942 Quit India movement, I was hardly 12 years old. But still, I got involved. On my cycle bar, I put up a picture of Gandhi
I see.
and went round schools and shouting slogans.
Oh, I see.
Didn't understand the movement as such,
But
but still took part in it in a way
But the slogans you said, will you recollect what slogans were what those?
No,
those?
we used to shout slogans like Bharat Mata Ki Jai
Mahatma Gandhi ki
or
jai.
Mahatma Gandhi Ki Jai and people like that, some leaders, the names.
Leaders, yeah.
And that's about all. I mean, see, Bharat Mata Ki Jai is a very old slogan.
Yes.
It's not a recent thing.
Yes.
It's one of the first ever slogans. Then we also use a slogan called Inqilab Zindabad.
Inqilab Zindabad.
You know.
Yes.
So,
Okay, that's very interesting. But did you have any brush with the authorities when you were doing this, you and your friend participating?
yeah, in when the responsible government movement started in Mysore, and we were all sort of youngsters in the college, so we supported the young leaders
Right.
of that time, like Dr. Lohia or Achyut Patwardhan and people like that.
Okay.
Then at that time, we did have a conference in Mysore, near Mysore actually, in Nanjangud. And the first responsible government came in at that time. That was the K.C. Reddy government which came. But I was somewhere arrested by
I see.
the police. And some 8 or 9 of us, we were taken to the lockup.
For what were you arrested, sir?
For doing something, there was a telephone wire, and a ladder put up by one of those technicians of the telephone department.
Right.
And I was standing there. The police van came and picked me up. And they said I was doing something
To disrupt the
meddling. Some false
It's a
case.
false charge.
So put me in the lockup. And then
Lock up.
yeah, in Ashoka Road, there's a police station.
I see.
So I was put up there. And then I had a friend of mine who lived in very close to my house, an Anglo-Indian, Simpson. He was an inspector, the traffic person.
Okay.
So he said, "What are you doing here, Sathyu?" He said. I said, "Look, I've been brought here." And so later on, he got me out, and all of us were
I see.
sent home. So we only had a little lunch at the cost of the police.
I see. I mean, you must have been 17-year-old when first Independence Day was celebrated. You were perhaps still in Mysore only that point of time. Do you remember something of the fervor with which it was celebrated, the first Independence Day?
Well, there was a time when Mahatma Gandhi came to Mysore. That I remember vaguely. And there was a meeting in the town hall grounds.
That must
in
have been
Mysore.
before 1947.
Yeah, just before that. And later on, I also, when I went to Bombay, I did attend Gandhiji's prayer meeting in Juhu. I vaguely remember such things of that period. Otherwise, for us, the local leaders were more important.
Yes.
There was one leader called Krishnappa, and he was a very good orator.
I see.
And every evening, we used to have a meeting in the Subrayan Katte. That used to be the place where every evening there used to be, a rally, and he would speak. And the police were always looking for him to arrest him. But he would escape. Every day he would come there, make his speech and disappear. I don't know how he did that. His name was Krishnappa.
I see.
I remember that even today.
Okay, sir, you said...
Another very tragic incident took place when we were in this movement. There was very near the college, near Maharajas College, there is a circle called Five Lights. It's on the 100 feet road. And then we were shouting slogans and one moving on the road. And then the police stopped us. And one of our colleagues, Ramaswamy was his name. And he was just standing next to me and shouting slogans. And the police warned us. And one inspector, by mistake, shot
Oh my
him.
God.
And he had not put on the safety catch
Safety
or something
catch of
like
the.
that. So by accident, he shot him.
Oh.
And that Ramaswamy fell to the ground and then he died there.
Oh my God.
And that was a very tragic incident which took place and made us very furious, no doubt. And now that circle is no more called Five Lights. It is called Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy Circle. Okay.
So that was a very tragic thing which happened.
Yes, yes. So you said that after intermediate you left Mysore and came to Bangalore.
Yeah, I came to
but
Bangalore.
Why Bangalore, sir? Were there were colleges in Mysore also, isn't it, for higher studies?
No, there wasn't.
Okay.
Because I was a student of science. So I
you had to
couldn't
come to
continue there.
Okay.
So I came to Central College. Not that I was a good student. I was never a good student.
I see. But you knew things.
I never got interested in the subjects which I was studying. I was more for theatre and the arts.
Okay, okay.
And I was...
So what was your dream at that point of time? I mean, your aspirations, adolescent aspirations at that point of time?
I mean, to become a painter was one of my dreams. My father did not encourage me. And he said, a painter can't make a living.
Yeah.
And you should just do it as a hobby.
Who were your favorite painters at that point of time, sir?
Some of the painters, European painters like Rembrandt.
Rembrandt.
Van
Gogh.
And some of the Impressionists also.
Renoir and...
Go. Yeah, there was a whole lot of painters
Claude
at
Monet.
that time who thought differently and painted differently.
Okay.
And Picasso was one of the leaders who changed the whole
Cubist
concept
movement.
and the Cubism came in at that time.
Yes.
So...
What was Salvador Dali? Were you, impressed by his...
Dali was a kind of a very strange kind of painter. He was a dreamer. His images were all like dreams.
Yeah.
He was a very different kind of...
So you wanted to be a painter?
Some painters like, Modigliani, for example.
Yes, Modigliani.
Was very great. I always liked Modigliani.
Figure, he
very much.
A lot of figures.
And because he was more like another very old painter called El Greco.
Yeah, El Greco. Yes.
So he had the same kind of thing. A little exaggerated...
longish faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, elongated.
Longish kind of
yes.
treatment he used to give. And in fact, when I went to Madrid some time back, I went to El Greco's gallery. And I was so impressed. I've never seen anybody using so much black,
Yes.
In a painting.
Yes.
And he used to, in black, using black over black is something very amazing it is.
Maybe Constable did for some paintings.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think in his paintings, it is very remarkable thing.
It was.
So, what were you reading in this time when you came to Bangalore? Though you were interested in painting, were you also...
No, I actually wanted to go to Shantiniketan.
Oh, I see.
But my father didn't allow me to. Then I thought I'll go to Bombay, then join the JJ School of Arts. That also did not happen.
Okay.
But still, I
In
managed to.
1952, finally you quit.
In
this.
52, I gave up my BSc
Uh,
and went to Bombay.
to do what? What you had in mind, sir?
I wanted to join the films
Films.
as a technician.
Oh, I see. What attracted you to this profession?
I was interested in cinema right from the beginning as a child.
Uh-huh.
I used to see a lot of films. No doubt I used to see a lot of slapstick films in those days because there were a lot of Chaplin-esque
Chaplin, yeah.
films.
Uh-huh.
There were many people who followed Chaplin
Yeah.
and they made many films. And I had the opportunity to see such films when I was very young. Then I used to see a lot of other language films also. I mean, I used to see Kannada. Kannada was very little because in those days very few Kannada films were made. I used to see a lot of Hindi films. Then I would see Telugu and Tamil films.
Tamil also.
A lot of Tamil films in those days.
Okay. So it was as a technician there. But did you know somebody in Bombay when you decided to go, or you simply took a plunge?
Just took a chance
Oh, I see.
and went there.
I see.
I
So
knew
then what
some
happened,
names
sir?
like K. Abbas and Habib Tanveer,
Tanveer.
people like that who... Habib Tanveer used to bring out a small magazine on cinema and he used to write very good reviews. So I was one of the very early acquaintances of mine was Habib Tanveer.
But this is Okla theatre of Habib Tanveer, but that was in Delhi, isn't it, sir?
That was later on.
So you came later on, you came to Delhi.
Yeah.
Was it
From
because
Bombay,
of
he said, if you want to do theatre, Bombay is not the right place.
Okay.
Let us go to Delhi.
Was it Habib Tanveer who said that?
Yeah, and then we went to Delhi.
Uh-huh.
So and there we started this theatre called Okla
Okla theatre, I see.
Then later on that Okla theatre became Hindustani theatre.
Hindustani theatre. Okay.
And I was in the Hindustani theatre for 5.
But at what point of time you came in contact with IPTA, sir, and how that happened?
IPTA was an older organization. And actually the beginning of IPTA as a people's cultural movement, it was initiated by some other scientists like Homi Bhabha and others in Bangalore.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
In the Indian Institute of Science in Malleshwaram.
Oh,
It was initiated there actually. And Harindranath Chattopadhyay, Kamala Devi, Raja Rao, and people like that.
Oh, they joined
They
together.
were all involved in that.
Okay.
And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was greatly interested that a people's cultural movement should start to arouse people towards, patriotism and things like that.
Yes.
And towards
Nation building
the
and
freedom movement. So, and then he said that in Brazil and in China, this kind of a movement has been very successful. So something should be done in the same fashion in India.
Yeah.
So in the 1940, there was a meeting held in
Bangalore, sir?
Bangalore. And there was a lady called Anil De Silva. She was from Ceylon.
Okay.
I mean, Sri Lanka. At that time, we used to call it
Ceylon, yeah, Radio Ceylon.
And she was a Communist Party member.
Okay.
And she became the first secretary of the
IPTA.
Indian People's Theatre Movement also later.
Okay.
So that was a kind of a leftist movement.
But that's quite okay with the authorities also. I
mean,
suppose, yes.
In fact, a land was allotted by the Maharaja of Mysore for the IPTA,
Oh, I see.
for the People's Theatre. And it was somewhere in Chamrajpet
Okay.
that he had allotted a piece of land. But that became a sawmill. Somebody grabbed it.
What a fall, sir. But then,
So-
so when did it move to Mumbai, sir? I mean, Bombay, that time, this IPTA,
Immediately.
immediately.
In
And when-
1942, 42, 43, the Progressive Writers Association, took
yes,
the
yes.
initiative and they started.
They started. So when you went to Bombay, you came in touch with the.
Yeah.
How did that happen? You're contacting IPTA.
Because I went in 1952 to Bombay, and most of my work has been done in Bombay, and I met a lot of people, lot of leftists, no doubt, poets and writers, and I came in contact with a whole lot of leftist movements, and so that's how
You came in touch with them.
my career started.
So that you must have been, say, around 25, 27,
In 52, I was 22.
22. But you were in Mumbai for how many years? I mean,
I spent a lot of time in Bombay.
before you went to Delhi?
Before I went to Delhi, for a very little while.
Little while. right.
After I went to Delhi and then came back.
Again.
to
Then a
Bombay.
long period you were there.
Yeah,
But
I
sir,
spent some 6 years in Delhi and then came
then
back.
came back. Okay. But during this period, I mean, this stage of your life when you were around 25, what were your worldview and your philosophy of life? Did you form some opinions about the world?
Well,
and
I worked with mostly the left organizations. Like even some union work, like
which was basically for equality and justice.
Hotel Workers Union. I used to go and help them and work with them and things like that.
No,
It
but
was-
what attracted you towards this movement, sir?
Because
The idea of equality and justice. And
No, politically I became more aware
Ah,
with the communists. I was with them,
right.
so I was much more sort of influenced by them,
Right.
and I worked for a lot of left organizations. Although I never became a card-holding member of any party,
But you had your sympathies.
but I was a worker.
Right. Now, we know that Hakikat, the very famous popular Hindi film, 1964 or 65, you were the art director for that film. But before that, you must have worked with many other films, or was it your first big break in the cinema?
No, I had worked with Chetan Anand in 2 or 3 films earlier, like Anjali,
Right.
Kinare Kinare,
Uh-huh.
and Aakhri Khat,
Okay.
these kind of films. Then in 1962, when the Chinese aggression took place, in 1963, Chetan Saab said, we should make a war film. So then he came to Delhi. At that time, I was working in Delhi in a newspaper office. So, I mean, for a living, I had to do many things.
Yes,
So,
one understands.
I used to work in a newspaper called a Patriot.
Oh, yes, Patriot. That time it's quite popular,
That was
60s, 70s.
a leftist paper, and it was started by Aruna Asaf Ali.
Oh, I see. Abbas used to write for it, I think. K. Abbas?
No, he used to write for Blitz,
Blitz, yeah, Blitz.
in Bombay.
Yeah. Karanjia.
So then when we started doing Hakikat, so I went to Ladakh, and that was perhaps the very first time a movie camera went
To Ladakh.
to Ladakh,
Yeah.
and the first ever attempt to make a war film, So I worked in that. I in many capacities. I was a production in charge.
Right.
I was a assistant director and a second unit cameraman also. Then I worked as an art director. That was my first art direction assignment which I got. That is because that is again a chance,
How? Yes, I was going to
Because
ask.
when the film was made and we brought all the negative and printed it and saw the thing, we found that the Indian army was only withdrawing,
Oh, I
that's
see.
all.
Ah.
They were not fighting any Chinese or anything like that. So there was no story,
Yes.
practically. It was a very defeatist kind of thing.
I see.
So then Chetan Saab said,
Yeah,
we should,
we should fight.
we should now write a story.
Yes.
So then he wrote a story.
Okay.
Then I said, okay, are we going back to Ladakh to shoot? He said, no, you will have to put up sets in Bombay.
Okay.
I said, how can I put up that
Create
kind of
Ladakh
terrain inside? That is a challenge for you.
As the art director. Oh, wonderful.
As an art director. So I tried, I designed, and I had a lot of photographs of Ladakh, So I tried to work with those photographs and recreated that kind of a terrain.
Okay, that's quite.
And it so happened that my first film as an art director,
You got the award.
then I got the Filmfare Award for
Yes,
that.
yes. That's very, very wonderful.
I mean,
So
it's just a chance.
I think chance, yes, chance, but I think talent, sir. We must.
No,
you may
many
not
things
say that.
happen accidentally.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, serendipity, you think, does play a role in life, sir? The chance happenings and all that.
I know there is some kind of a, I don't know what to call it, whether it is talent or
Yeah.
your interest maybe. And then you get a chance to do things and you are challenged.
Yeah.
When you have a challenge before you,
You come up with.
then you come with, you become more innovative. Then you'll fight everything.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. You see, there is no formula for making a good film, for example. What is a formula? There cannot be a
Yeah,
formula.
it cannot be.
It's only hard work, sincerity, honesty in telling the story.
Yes, yes.
That makes a good film.
Let me ask, marriage must have taken place around this time, and how it happened, and
Which one?
your marriage, sir.
Oh, marriage. That is that kind of little romance happens when you are working in theatre. You come close to.
But how did you come in touch with Shramaji, and then how the marriage took
No,
place?
you see, Shama's mother was a theatre person. She tried to translate a lot of the Sanskrit classics into Urdu.
Okay, into Urdu.
And then and she wanted to stage them. That's how the Hindustani theatre started.
Okay. And that family is from Rampur in UP, is it, sir?
She was from Rampur. Actually, she was a Kashmiri.
Okay. Settled down.
But married to Colonel Zaidi, who was the Diwan of
Rampur State.
Rampur State.
That time, yeah.
So, a lot of the background of UP
Yes,
is there.
yes.
So, and Shama was the eldest daughter, the only daughter of.
You came to know her during your first move to Bangalore? I mean,
No, when
Mumbai
I
or
went
much-
to Bombay,
Delhi.
Delhi, later on I met her.
Okay.
I had met the family earlier, but I met Shama much later when she started studying in
Bombay.
Miranda House.
Okay.
Earlier she was in Woodstock in Mussoorie.
Okay.
So at that time I didn't know her. I came to know her when she came to Delhi, and then she also started working in the theatre,
Yes, sir.
and she acted and things like that. So
And-
that's where
And I find that, sir, almost all the what was called parallel cinema in Hindi, she's associated with almost all those movies. Every one of them, in some way or other.
No, I know. She worked with Shyam Benegal.
Benegal, yeah.
A lot of films of his are scripted by her. And Then she worked with Muzaffar Ali, and Umrao Jan was
Jan.
made. Then she worked with Sathyu Ray, and Shatranj Ke Khiladi was made. So
Lot of,
that way.
Have you two done some project together, sir?
Garam Hawa is the
Garam Hawa is, yeah, she is the script
the script is by her.
by her.
So based on an unpublished work of Ismat
Ismat
Chugtai.
Chugtai, sir. Now that we have come to Garam Hawa, 1972, or you were making it 1972, sir. It was out in 73. Is that so?
73, 74 it was out.
Out, okay.
Because I had a lot of problem getting the census certificate.
Oh, okay.
For 11 months I was deprived of a certificate.
Oh, I see. Oh,
So, although I completed the film in 73 itself, I couldn't release it.
Some incident or some event or some influence which you think was very important. I mean, it turned out to be very important subsequently. Some interesting memories there of this period, sir? Of course, you did a lot of work that's there, but
No,
some lasting impression of some
concentrated a lot on set designing,
set design.
doing technical jobs in the theatre. Actually, when I went to Bombay in 1952, I didn't know any of the local languages. I didn't know Gujarati, I didn't know Marathi, I didn't know Hindi also. I only spoke a little bit of Urdu, which is the Mysore Urdu, you know, which is a kind of a Deccani dialect.
Yes.
So I had to concentrate. I couldn't become an actor. I was never interested in becoming an actor in any case. But then because the lack of knowing any language made me become a technician.
Oh, I see. I see.
So I started doing lighting and makeup and things like that, and designing sets and so forth. So then I established myself as one of the leading theatre designers in Bombay.
So, sir, you have so many films, about a dozen films, Hindi, Kannada, and many more theatre productions. But which of the two mediums you find more challenging, theatre or film?
No, you see, I worked in theatre, I worked in television, and I worked also in cinema. Not many films I made. I made only about 9 films in different languages. I made in Urdu, Hindi, Kannada, So in different languages I made and different types of films.
Yes.
Every film of mine is a different thing.
Yes.
So I don't have any particular style as such, But my style is determined by the content of a film.
Right.
Content of a story, So, but my interest in theatre is much greater, I think.
Yeah.
And my contribution also is much more in theatre. I've been still doing theatre. I mean, it's not that I've stopped. Even today I do theatre. And recently I've designed for 2 different productions. One of Girish Karnad's play, that
which play, sir?
Boiled beans and
boiled beans.
toast. It has been done in Kannada at Ranga Shankara.
Okay.
And also B. Jayashree's play, which I have designed. So I've given them a different look altogether.
Yes.
Yes.
But, sir, sorry, my question was, which of the two you find more challenging as an artist?
You see, the thing is...
Or this question irrelevant?
No, it's a relevant question. You have to know one thing. Any language that you speak or you practice, you have to know the grammar of that language. So cinema has its own grammar and theatre has its own grammar. They are not the same.
Right.
Although many things are
Maybe.
similar. So the language of theatre, if you understand, the language of cinema you understand, then you have to think differently in the two mediums. You know. So that somehow I've been able to manage that. You know. But many people who have worked in theatre
May not.
and they started making films, they make very theatrical films.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, like Saurabh
Right.
Modi, one very good example.
Yes, yes.
A tremendous filmmaker, I mean, of that period, but in a very theatrical style.
Yes, yes, yes.
All his films are very theatrical. But it works. Somehow it works, you know.
Maybe the themes he chose
Yeah, you
helped
know,
him
his
in.
historicals or mythologicals or any of such things, which he was, even his social subjects or he dealt with, you know. But somehow, but he could never do a film
As a film.
as a film.
Purely.
The subtlety of film, he could never get across, you know. He used the same kind of dialogue delivery, but he depended on dialogue very
Right.
much.
Yes, yes. yes.
And in theatre, you depend on dialogue, so he used the same kind of technique even in cinema.
Also.
Cinema doesn't need that kind of
Dialogue delivery.
exaggerated expression. Cinema is a very subtle medium. You can go very close to an actor and you can capture every little, you know,
Twitch of his
expression.
Expression, yeah. But
Even
I
a
think
whisper by an actor can be
evocative or
captured. But that some people understand it, some people don't understand it.
So in a way, for certain aspects of filmmaking is more challenging than the theatre, and certain aspects of theatre are perhaps more challenging than filmmaking. Can we say that, sir, or that's not the right way to put it?
No, it is a very tricky kind of a situation. You know.
Okay, sir. Now you have made so many, say, produced theatre and films. How do you choose your theme or the subject or this thing, or either for a play or for a film? How do you do it? What are the criteria? Do you apply any criteria, or how do you do it?
No, many things, you know, inspire you. So, even a newspaper article sometimes, something that happens, you know, so it can inspire you. And so that you can make a film out of that, you know. In theatre, there is a lot of theatre, you know, dependent on its own literature. There are a lot of plays which are there, socially and politically relevant plays. So it's a question of choice. If you have a political kind of leaning,
Yes.
then you choose political subjects.
Right.
In fact, that is one of the complaints people have against me, that most of my
Films.
theatre work and most of my film work is political.
Political.
So I can't find money very easily.
To produce them.
You know,
Yes, yes,
it is
always
difficult to
difficult,
find money.
But then I think art and artists must be encouraged to express their kind of comments on the politics of the day.
No, not every film be politically.
Yes, not necessarily. Yes.
It's not necessary. There are so many things which doesn't need. Sometimes, I mean, the word entertainment, when you take, you know, what does entertainment mean? I think it's an inadequate word. To me, the word manoranjan is more meaningful. It elevates the mind. Manoranjan.
Yeah, Ranjan.
But entertainment doesn't have
Rather
that
shallow.
kind of a depth in it.
Shallowness.
So I think
Yes.
what is important is when you read a novel or you see a play or you go and see a movie, it should elevate you.
Yes.
If that is achieved, then it's a great success.
Successful. Yeah. So this, so many things you have done. That is films, telefilms, serials, documentaries also we have made. Even advertising for you have done. And which of these genre you think expresses you most satisfactorily? I mean, out of these so many things you have done, you think that is closest, you think you are coming out into this?
No, in some of my films I've experimented and I have, I can say that I achieved it. You see, a film of mine, in Kannada, which is called Chitegu Chinte, is a out and out crazy kind of film. The humor of that is very, different. It is not an ordinary kind of humor. So, but there is so much satire in it, which is very satisfying.
Yes.
This whole concept of your popularity as a film actor, you use it in your politics. Then you become the head of a state.
Yes.
I mean, in Tamil Nadu,
Yes, it
a lot of this has happened.
Yes.
The film stars are the most
Became
important leaders of Tamil Nadu. Whether they are actors or producers and directors or even writers, they use that medium politically.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing has happened even in Hollywood. That Ronald Reagan was an actor. He became the president of America and things like that. But in Tamil Nadu and in Andhra, it's been very deliberately worked on. So this kind of a thing which I brought out even before N.T. Ramarao became the chief minister of Andhra, I had done Chitegu Chinte, which we, in fact, we sort of used that character of N.T. Ramarao in the film.
Okay.
I mean, the main actor, C.R. Simmadas,
Yes.
is something like that.
Sir, tell us something about the source of your creativity and how it works out. You are full of creativity. That's how you have been in position to do so many various things. What do you think, can it be identified? What is the source? It may be more than one source of this creativity and how it works out in an individual like you.
I don't know. I never thought of it as to what inspired me. I mean, it's very difficult to say that, because there are a lot of, I've seen the theater of the world in many languages and from many countries. Then I've seen films also from many countries. So to me, all these things have inspired me. You know, many times I have I see a French film. I don't understand it fully because I don't know the language, but still that film can inspire me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so my sources have been from. It's very difficult to pinpoint.
Pinpoint.
I mean,
Right, right.
but to me, a Charlie Chaplin is one of the greatest filmmakers of the world. You know, and he is relevant even today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, whether you take his City Lights or take his The Great Dictator,
Yes.
you can see
Yes.
the span in which he has
Yes,
worked.
yes, yes.
A huge,
Yeah.
difference in that two films
Yes,
altogether.
yes, yes, yes.
You know?
Yes, sir.
So that kind of a, and people like that, some people who have been very good film directors, for example, David Lean, if you take, in the early days, in the early films of his, he took very small, simple stories,
Yeah.
and he made those black and white films. And later on, he used huge canvases, like Lawrence of Arabia,
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huge canvas. And there where he used the nature. Nature was the thing. In one he uses the desert, in another he uses the sea, in another film he uses the snow,
Oh, yes. Sir.
He uses these elements of nature.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then he fights against that.
Oh.
He's a very inspiring director that way,
Yes, sir.
And people like that. And then, I don't know if you have seen a film called Viva Zapata,
No, sir. No, sir.
one of very early films of Marlon Brando.
Uh-huh.
He acted in that.
Okay.
It was about the revolution in Mexico and so forth.
Okay.
And the way that film was made, something which even today, to me, one of the greatest films that I have seen in my life. And it inspires me.
Sir, during your career, you have won so many awards have been given to you, including Padma Shri in 1975. But out of all these recognition, which one you cherish the most? I mean, can one ask such a question or?
No, see, the awards are just by the way. The awards come when you do some work.
Right.
The awards come. That doesn't really mean anything. It is when a film is appreciated by an audience, or when a play is appreciated and remembered by the audience.
That is.
That is more important.
Right. Right.
I did a play called Kuri. A Kuri.
Oh, Bakri.
Bakri, which is by
Sarveshwar
Sarveshwar Dayal Saxena. That was made during the time of the emergency.
Emergency, yes. I have seen that, sir. I have seen that.
And that was one of the very first plays on emergency.
Yes, yes. I have seen
And
that.
that is one of my very good productions.
Yes, yes. Sir.
Yes,
sir.
So people still remember a production like that.
Yes, sir. Yes. So that is more satisfying to you. Satisfying to you.
That is the reward you require.
Yes, yes.
Not these,
And you say any work on hand now, sir, at present? Any project on hand?
I mean, what has happened, what is politics? Politics is nothing but corruption. And that has been shown in many films. Many theaters, they have shown it. But there are many other social issues which need to be projected.
But
And I think that is very important. And also I want to just, cut myself away from all this
Yes.
political drama. I want to do a musical,
yes, yes,
where you give a lot of prominence to the classical music of India, the classical dance of India,
yes, yes.
because that is something which people are forgetting.
Yes, sir.
It needs to be reminded
Yeah.
that there is such a rich, treasure of music and dance.
Suppose, sir, you are talking to people interested in filmmaking or films. What would you like to tell them?
Be honest. And whatever you want to say, say it boldly.
That will be applicable even if you are talking to people who are interested in theatre.
Yeah, in anything.
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 Or let's say this generation.
You see,
So-
to be honest, when you want to express something, you should be honest.
So we can say that
You
is
should
the
not
guide.
mind people getting hurt.
Yeah.
Many times, somebody will come and say, "Oh, this hurts my religious feeling." Yeah, that's it is
Meant to.
made to hurt you.
Yeah. Yes.
Hurt him. Hurt this religious feeling.
So honesty, you say, is the guide, should be the guiding
Yeah,
principle
it
of
has to.
life. And
You have to be honest in whatever you want to say.
it has been wonderful talking to you, sir. And it's so nice to see you at the age of 89, so energetic and active. May God bless you with good health and many more years of creative life. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Namaste.